This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
I'm always pleased when I have a writer in the house and an authoress today, Madhuri Banerjee, really multifaceted. Her debut novel, Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas, was a runaway bestseller, and all of a sudden, Cosmopolitan calls her the new Carrie Bradshaw on the block. Shobha Day is raving about her. Hello, Madhuri.
Hi, Hrishi.
Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. I've read it cover to cover.
Thank you so much.
Autobiographical?
Parts of it, yes.
Which are the parts that are autobiographical and which are not?
The sex scenes are not autobiographical.
Or you would have me believe, Madhuri.
Pure imagination and flights of fantasy, obviously. But Kaveri, the protagonist, is semi-autobiographical. She is a little mousy in the beginning and she gets her stand in the end. So I was like that, and I didn't lose my virginity for a very long time because I did think that, Jesus Christ was looking at me above.
Bengali intellectual.
Convent educated.
It all adds up, doesn't it?
Okay.
But really, I mean, from a woman's perspective, and I think the novel is pretty much about that, is that women are really a lot more emotional about sex than men are. Yeah, isn't it?
I think so. I think they get into relationships and they get into complicated situations because they lead with their heart. And I think that's perfectly fine. But they don't know how to get out of it as quickly as men do.
Yeah, and they always say it's okay, if I sleep around and I have sex, it's okay. I can do this whole thing without letting the emotions come into play. But once the act happens, the first to get emotional. And that's what really gets the goat for us men,
Yes, imagine waking up the morning after and saying, when will you marry me?
or alluding to something like that.
Yes, something like that.
So Kaveri, the protagonist, is somebody that you want to take forward, which is what the second novel is also about, yeah?
Yes, the second novel is about Kaveri finding new adventures. It has nothing to do with the first novel at all. So I don't want to call it a sequel. But Mistakes Like Love and Sex is a standalone novel. But it's part of a trilogy.
Oh, there's more to come.
There's a third part as well. Yes.
Chick lit novels. I mean, that's what it's called, isn't it? It's like chick literature, yeah?
I don't like the label chick lit because that kind of stops men from buying it. And it's an intense relationship novel. It has a lot of humor. It has a lot of exciting sex scenes. So I think men should buy it more than women. And by putting it as a chick lit novel, I'm losing a lot of audience. So please don't say that, Hrishi.
I have to say this, though, that women authors have an astute understanding of men. And I think you have that. I've read the first novel, and I can say that
Thank you.
That's fabulous. They understand the nuances of how men are, how men, so to say, play out their lives and things like that. Acquired over many relationships and friendships?
Yes, like a few relationships and an amalgamation of many friendships and a lot of stories.
And men still make the best friends, don't they? They're
Absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely. I love men. I think you cannot live in a world without men.
Absolutely. Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. The authoress is in studio, Madhuri Banerjee. Her new one is out. It's called Mistakes Like Love and Sex. We're going to chat some more with her. A filmmaker turned writer. That's what we're going to chat about. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
There's a Dire Straits song that goes Lady Writer on the TV talking about Virgin Mary. This is not television, this is radio, but I have a lady writer here. Madhuri Banerjee is my guest today. If you haven't read the novel, you should go get it. Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. It is an absolute bestseller. And the who's who of the literary world are heralding her as the new sensation. The new Carrie Bradshaw on the block is what somebody says. Another publication says, all credit to Madhuri for inventing a heroine who has a brain as well as a body. That's Kaveri, your protagonist, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, now, between dualities, your thesis film at Jamia Millia Islamia won a national award for Best Documentary on Women's Issues.
Yes.
Do you still look at that now and then and say, my God, I could have been this full time?
No, not at all. I mean, it was very difficult to do that film. It was on psychiatry and women, and it was very intense at that time. Everybody in Delhi is intense. They're all into this intellectual thing. So I left that, got my national award, came to Bombay and joined the film industry because I'm a hardcore cotton candy commercial film person. So
Which is where I think the best friend character in Kaveri's life comes across. Aditi
was me in some parts.
Oh, in some parts.
Yes,
okay.
in some parts. The assistant director part.
To cue you guys in, the first novel, which is Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas, has Kaveri, the protagonist, best friends with an assistant director called Aditi. So, Subhash Ghai, Kezad Gustad, Rohan Sippy, Anu Malik.
Anu Malik.
You worked with all of them. Most exciting. I mean, they're also inspiring, aren't they? Rohan, such an intelligent guy. Kezad, such a wacko. Mr. Ghai.
Yes, I picked a lot.
Yeah.
I really picked them well, and also I was broke, so anything that came my way, I just did that job, and they turned out to be such fabulous, colorful personalities that I learned so much from them that I could actually sit and write a book.
What is the most fascinating project that you worked on in the film world?
Yadem with Subhash Ghai, which was for 1.5 years. No Diwali, no New Year's, no Bandh we had. So 1.5 years non-stop, and I learned everything from music to direction to costumes to dialogues. And yes, that film was a flop.
Very poignantly put, Madhuri. So, were all these experiences garnered because you knew you wanted to be a writer, or did writing just happen by accident?
No, I always wanted to win an Oscar and stand on the stage and, make a speech about that. So I realized that I'm not getting there. I might as well sit and write. And I wrote really well. So I wrote the first book when my daughter was sleeping at night, when she was 3 months old. And I wrote it for myself, and it actually got published and 50,000 copies got sold. So I said, okay, fine. Maybe my path to, say, filmmaking is through writing.
And now has that changed? Are you still looking at doing a film screenplay someday, or are you just saying, no man, I'm just so satisfied? What?
Yes, I have written a film screenplay.
Which one is that?
It's not released yet.
Oh, okay. So we'll be a little shh about that, right?
Shh about that, yes.
Okay. Madhuri Banerjee is in conversation with me. She's the writer of the bestseller Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. Don't go anywhere. 94.3 Radio 1.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
The idea is to get interesting people who light up your mornings while you're driving to work or taking the train to work with your headphones on. A writer today, national bestseller Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. Madhuri Banerjee is its writer. Her new one is out. It's called Mistakes Like Love and Sex. And from what I can read in the first one, the second one is going to be as masaledar, so to say. She hates it being called chick lit, chick literature. But hey, you are a love guru in the Asian Age and Deccan Chronicle, so you're dispensing relationship advice.
Yes, I'm giving relationship advice to women, and they write into me, and I have a column there. And I've also got a blog on CNN IBN online called Chastity Belt. So, lots of steamy stuff.
Sex sells and steaminess sells, yeah?
I think problems sell. Everyone has a relationship problem nowadays. So, a lot of people write into me, and I think a lot of TG is men who are having problems trying to figure out what do women think. So, that's what I write about also.
Which we'll be figuring out for the rest of our lives. But with relationship problems, there is an added responsibility. How do you tackle that? I mean, if somebody says, hey, I'm having this issue, do I leave my girlfriend? And then he leaves her, and all of a sudden, based on your advice, and then they get back together, and who becomes the villain of the piece? Madhuri Banerjee. So it's a thin line.
Yes, with great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man.
But I do want most relationships to work, so I never give that kind of advice. I always tell them to try and work it out, and steam up their lives somehow. And that's the kind of advice that I do give.
Unless it's abusive, obviously. Unless it's abusive.
Of course. And then I tell them to be independent and strong and courageous and take the next step.
Any background in psychology, psychiatry, or is it just relationship advice which has been garnered from your own life?
I absorb a lot from different people. Their stories, their emotions. People write into me on Twitter, my blog. So I love responding to people. So I've kind of honed my skill on understanding what people want. So I try to give good advice, and I follow up on a lot of people.
Last leg of a fascinating conversation with Madhuri Banerjee. She is authoress of the national bestseller Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. Blog you talked about. Give out your blog and Twitter. Where can we get a sample of your work for those of you who haven't read Madhuri's yet?
Yes, it's on madhuribanerjee.com, which is my website, and madhuribanerjee.blogspot.in, which is my blog. And I have a Twitter handle called Madhuri Banerjee, so you can contact me wherever and whenever, and I reply back to everybody.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
A writer in the house, Madhuri Banerjee, wrote Losing My Virginity and Other Dumb Ideas. I started off saying, oh my God, should I read this book, not read this book? I read it, and it's really brisk. brisk, fast-paced, and it's not so much about women as much as it is about men and the relationship that women go through because of us. And now, her next novel, Mistakes Like Love and Sex, are out, and I'm given to believe it's the same protagonist. Madhuri, tell us about the new one.
Yes, the protagonist is Kaveri again, but it's a standalone novel. And it's fun, it has a lot of humor, and it has her traveling, her falling in love with a Bollywood hero, and I had a very hunky hero in mind when I wrote that sex scene.
You worked on Yadein with Subhash Ghai, so do I presume it's Hrithik Roshan?
Parts of Hrithik Roshan, parts of Ranbir Kapoor.
Did you work on a film with him?
No, not yet, but I will.
That's one of your goals.
One of my targets, yes.
Yeah.
But Kaveri does fall in love with an older man as well. So I know a lot of people who are having a relationship with a huge age gap between them. So that also comes into the novel. And it's a lot of fun. So don't think of it as a chicklet. Don't think of it as a sequel. Please go get Mistakes Like Love and Sex and enjoy it from prologue to the epilogue. And write to me about it.
The older man syndrome. I mean, a lot of women seem to be going through that from time immemorial. What is it that's so attractive about the older man in a woman's dictionary?
He's more stable. He's richer. He's more arrived. He doesn't need too much of running around in his life and trying to achieve something because he's already done that. He knows what a woman wants and he's able to give it.
Are they less possessive? I mean, are they more, less jealous, or is that not a factor that happens with older men?
No, I think they are equally jealous. I mean, you look at Michael Douglas, he's very jealous of his beautiful wife. But yeah, I think the power, the position, the wealth does attract a woman.
And it is the, sorting himself out, which is much more than what we can say about
yes,
young teen
please
vocals.
get there already. The rest of the men.
Madhuri, it's been a great experience chatting with you. The future. I know this is a trilogy on Kaveri, so there will be one more book after this. But you said somewhere in there that you want to work with Ranbir Kapoor. So what do you mean? Are you going to look at direction as a possible, film direction as a possible future career? I mean, I know you've done television and documentaries and things like that.
Film direction, yes. But I have to finish the trilogy. I'm writing a Mills and Boons novel. And I'm also writing a novel which is completely different from a male point of view. Has a male protagonist and it's in the first person. And it talks about a man and his problems with women and his girlfriend.
Surviving women.
Surviving women, yes. So look out for that, yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much, bye.